Hi everyone, welcome to the channel. My name is CeeChronicles and I post fragrance related content on this platform. If you're new, please consider subscribing and joining the family. And if you're returning, thank you so much for the continued support. I thought to do a quick sit down video because of what's happening, and the secret is out, guys. Yes, I do now have a fragrance that I created under the brand Macedon, and it's called Proud Mary. This fragrance was announced on Arahi's channel last night at 9 p.m. Eastern time, and I have managed to mail this fragrance to a lot of other reviewers on this platform, so they will bring you and give you their thoughts. Right now, I have a documentary that I put in place that I was planning to make public. It's already uploaded, but it's on private. I was planning to make that public today, but I thought before then, let me perhaps give you the brief breakdown or background behind the making of this fragrance. This is the packaging of Proud Mary. It is a box in a box, so the fragrance is going to sit in there, and it's going to be like a little drawer in there, and there is some embossing on this, right? It's a 120 ml Extrait de Parfum created under the brand name Macedon, and Proud Mary in itself is in honor of my late mother Mary, the very woman who got me into fragrances from as young as I can remember. Now the box is going to have a sleeve that covers the drawer, so it's going to be a box in a box, and then you're going to get a card like this with a little message from me to you and my signature, and of course the bottle number that you would have received. We only made 2,500 bottles of Proud Mary, and you can purchase a bottle at www.macedonperfumes.com. We have a 25% discount that you can apply to get this fragrance at the pre-launch price. The note structure of Proud Mary Extrait de Parfum are as follows. The top has pineapple, apple, dried fruit, and cardamom. The mid is jasmine and tonka bean, and the base is sweet vanilla, spices, a touch of woods, and a little bit of patchouli to give the fragrance longevity. This fragrance is going to be available at www.macedonperfumes.com. You can enter the code pre-launch to get yourself 25% off this fragrance. The website is live and accessible. Once you get on the website at checkout, you just enter the word pre-launch, all in lowercase, and you get yourself a bottle of Proud Mary Extrait de Parfum, 120 ml, from my nose to yours. Now here's the juice, guys. How this fragrance came about. Macedon Perfumes is a company that was founded in 2024 by myself and one of the CeeChronicles family. And the name Proud Mary, as I said, is in honor of my mother, the very woman who made me love fragrances. I came here last year in August with an announcement because at the time I was burnt out. I felt I was going nowhere. I came and sat here and I was ready to say, guys, it's been a nice 7 years or 6.5 years together. This is going to be it. I'm going to have to leave it at this when it comes to fragrance reviewing, because I was purchasing these fragrances and literally not getting recognition, to be very honest, in terms of sponsorship, funding, or any sort of warmth from most of the companies that I kept on talking about. Then as I set to do that video, I had a recollection of a little clip that I had seen on Instagram talking about Middle East beauty world, and I paused my camera while recording and I checked that to see what it was all about. It was something that I just did impromptu, and then when I checked, Beauty World Middle East was being marketed as something that was going to happen in October, at the end of October, for 3 days. So remember I said I was sitting here in August ready to quit. So while sitting, guys, and conversing with you about being burnt out, I remember saying this one sentence. I said, my last exit wish would have been to go to Dubai. Maybe any one of these companies that I've spoken about for years will give me recognition. And I remember some of you commenting, some laughing, and that's how that began. While I was at that, I got some people reach out to me. Some of the people who had already been speaking, of the CeeChronicles family behind the scenes, they'll check up on me, they would comment in the comment section, but also send me messages privately. And there was this woman called Tamika. Tamika is one of the CeeChronicles family. And I remember during some of the discussions that I would have with Tamika, I always used to say, you're so passionate about fragrances. Why don't you start your own YouTube channel? And she said, no, I am passionate about spraying them, not about reviewing them and that sort of thing. Besides, it'll be too much work for me. So when she saw that video, we talked as usual, and that conversation of ours led to, but what would it take to create a perfume? That's exactly how Proud Mary was born. It was just a conversation where we said, what would it take to create a perfume? And I hadn't even thought of doing things that way because I didn't have the funding, guys. So here was somebody who was seeing my potential and asking, and then I went into this research mode. I made the booking to go to the Beauty World Middle East last year, and I made a couple of appointments to meet with master perfumers to find out what it would take to make a perfume, what budget would be looking at, and all the nice stuff. So by the time I left for Beauty World, we were of the understanding, Tamika and I were of the understanding that I would do my research as to what it would take to make a perfume. So it was also the reason why I stayed in the Middle East for almost a month after the fair was over. And yes, we consulted with some companies and ended up getting a quote. It wasn't cheap. And Tamika herself is not a millionaire. She's not somebody who's rich, but she was somebody who said, I would love to see your potential shine through. I would love to see this for you. And I would pull all the strings to make it happen, for you. So on her end, she consulted with her attorneys, and it ended up being about creating the fragrance as well as establishing the company Macedon Perfumes. So Macedon Perfumes was established in September 2024. The name Macedon refers to Maima, Cecilia, and Brandon. As I said, Tamika said, this is something that I would love to gift you. I do not want my name there, except to just make your dream come true. I can see the fire in you, and I can see the passion in you. And guys, it was at that point that I realized that sometimes where you wish to be celebrated is not where you are going to be celebrated. That is a point in my life where God showed me that sometimes you focus on one direction and yet something good is in the horizon, right? So that is the backstory of how Proud Mary came about. We created this fragrance solely funded by Tamika, and she pulled all the stops. However, that was also the beginning of the challenges that we were not expecting to face ahead. We got a couple of quotations, but those quotations kept going up and up and up. As a brand new company, we didn't realize that the company pocket will be so burdened, by making sure that we get this. I read a couple of comments saying, why 2,500 bottles? 2,500 bottles was what we could afford, and it was really a stretch from the purchasing of the ingredients, the payment of the factory, the purchasing of the bottle, the designs, everything, cost a fortune if you're doing things at a small magnitude than if you are at a grand scale. So remember, I said Macedon Perfumes itself is a perfume house that we then established, and this is a perfume house that knew nothing, guys. We didn't have any integration. We were not being cut some slacks. No one was negotiating with us. Everybody kept on saying, well, for your volumes, unfortunately, you're going to pay a hefty price. So making this fragrance became one of those things that I would say was a stretch. We worked flat out. Tamika on the fine print and finance side, myself on the creativity side, my son Brandon, on the technical side, Maima on the photography side, because we didn't have the budget to source externally some of these things that big companies would. So we found ourselves thrust in a learning situation, but also pushing to make sure that what we had started had to end well, right? So we did not get any leeway. Everywhere we would get a quotation, it was so exorbitant, including being told by some companies that those numbers are sometimes created for even weddings. They're not the sort of volumes that would grant us any discount of some sort. So at the time of the release of this fragrance, guys, we were literally on zero. There was absolutely nothing. It was just so overwhelming. And then the fragrance itself got finished in July 2024. And when it was finished, we hadn't realized that, moving 2,500 bottles from the United Arab Emirates to the United States, because remember, Macedon Perfumes is in the United States, was going to be another slap, in the face in terms of costing. But it was something that we had to do. There was no way we would sell this product without it being, where the company was. So it was all those things, guys, that led also to the pricing of this fragrance. The juice in itself is an extrait. I made sure that we get the highest quality, something that really did hurt the pocket, because I didn't want something squishy. I wanted something that is going to be relatable. I wanted something that was going to be unisex. I went for 120 mLs because I wanted something that was going to be, value for money in terms of volume. But what I hadn't realized is by 120 mLs, when you order 2,500 bottles, it's as good as you've ordered 3,000, bottles in terms of volume. You are to use the ratio of 100 ml per bottle, but you have, made 120 ml of perfume. So those are some of the things that we learned as we went. The cap in itself, I remember insisting that I want something with weight. I don't want something plastic. And it was all those things that kept adding up. There were moments where we would have a fallout with my partner because it was just getting over her head. But anyway, guys, good news is the fragrance is here. This fragrance, guys, is not so much about the profit, but rather about kickstarting the brand Macedon Perfumes, because I would like to see this brand grow to bigger heights. I would love to see this brand partner with other creators. I would love to see this brand create employment. I would love to see this brand do charitable work. I would love to see this brand being a blessing and beyond just this being a piece of perfume from me to you. So that is what Macedon Perfumes represents. It's a product that I pray will be the birth of other products where we can do more volume, where we can have good integration solutions that are affordable, where we can have warehousing solutions that are affordable. But as I speak, I can say I'm so happy that I have this bottle and it's finally there for purchase on www.macedonperfumes.com, and you can get it at 25% off. The shipping currently is in the United States. That is how Proud Mary came about. So I do hope you share in the journey. The website is open, guys. I'm going to leave the link in the description. It has been quite a rough start. However, I have managed to organize for some units to be in Ghana, for Adjoa to distribute, and in South Africa for Dubai Perfume Cafe to distribute. And we are planning and working flat out to be able to ship in other countries. So please bear with us. It is not a product made by a big brand. Macedon Perfumes in itself is brand new. We are just, putting our feet in step by step. But I pray that it becomes a house that gives back. I pray that my Mother Mary herself, nurturing spirit, be something that will represent this brand, where it becomes a brand that will be a true example of you can rise from the ashes to something. So guys, I pray that you share in this journey with us, and I pray that this becomes the beginning of something great. I have given a lot of influencers this fragrance, so you are going to hear some of the reviews. I am not going to come here and sit and do the reviews, because I created the fragrance, so I may feature it in top this, top that, but not necessarily do a review. I am also going to drop a video today, a second video documenting the journey that it took to make this fragrance. Thank you so much to each and everybody who is going to support. Thank you so much to each and every everybody who has already supported after watching Arahi's channel. There's going to be more reviews coming from other fellow YouTubers. And thank you so much, guys, for believing in me. CeeChronicles here signing out. Remember that smelling good is a form of good manners. Cheers.